You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Ooh-wee, the Denver Nuggets getting the job done by any means necessary in Game 1, taking down the Los Angeles Clippers. Your final score here this afternoon, 112-110. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about on tonight's Locked On Nuggets postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And real quick, tonight's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Woo, 112-110, your final score here. The Russell Westbrook experience. That's all I have to say right now.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And why not one more?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
The turning point and the Locked On Player of the Game for me tonight absolutely positively has to be number 0, Brody, the former league MVP, Russell Westbrook. This is a game that, frankly, I'm up here in the press box. I'm live from Ball Arena, if I forgot to mention that already. This is a game that Denver, in my opinion, had no business winning. This is a terrible loss for the Los Angeles Clippers because Denver down and out from the jump. Okay, good third quarter from Nikola Jokic, fourth quarter, keep clawing back, no pun intended with Kawhi Leonard. But this is a game that the Clippers 100% should have won, led by as many as, let me refresh real quick, 15 points at one point for the Los Angeles Clippers. But Russell Westbrook, love him, hate him, unsure about him. You got the full Russell Westbrook experience tonight. I mean, he hit a clutch corner three late in that game that helped Denver, get some momentum late in the fourth quarter for this one. And from there, he did some other good stuff in the playoff or in the overtime period, as of course it was an overtime victory here for the Denver Nuggets. 33 seconds left. Russell Westbrook hits the corner three. Denver down 96-95 at that moment in time. And, the Clippers all afternoon long, all game long, daring Russell Westbrook to take that type of a shot. And he takes it in a clutch moment, under a minute left, down one, and he drains it. Now, let's be fair, you also got the other end of the Russell Westbrook experience there late in the game as well, as with an opportunity possession late, last possession of the game, Jokic dishes the ball to Westbrook, and it's like shades of the NCAA national championship game where Denver's unable to get the shot off. Jokic, guys clamoring for the ball around the court, and Russ kind of goes up and down. I don't even know how you could really describe it, but point being, Russ hits the clutch shot that ultimately gives Denver the lead late in the fourth, and after James Harden goes down and gets a bucket, Russell Westbrook is kind of standing there not knowing what to do. But then, after a clutch Christian Brown three-point shot as well in overtime, Russell Westbrook, Clippers have the ball on the inbound, goes up there, swipes the ball away, scrappy play, Nuggets end up getting the ball, and they ultimately are able to win this game 112-110. I mean, wow. This is a game I was sit up here, like I said, in the press box, have my guy Josh Dover from Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan sitting next to me, and I'm just kind of shaking my head. And Russ makes the shot, and then he doesn't get the shot off, and then he makes the steal. And I'm like, this is just the Russell Westbrook experience at this point in his career in a nutshell. And I saw that Bob Myers, the former general manager of the Golden State Warriors, who's on the call today for ESPN, had some thoughts about Russell Westbrook. And he said, he makes more, he helps you more than he hurts you, is I believe the quote that we saw from Bob Myers. And look, I know that Minnesota game is still lodged in everybody's head. It's PTSD. I remember that. I was sitting in this exact seat, essentially. What was that, 2 weeks ago now? And the game that ultimately, in my opinion, got Michael Malone fired, that got Calvin Booth fired at the hands of Russell Westbrook. But tonight, this evening, whatever you want to call it, Russell Westbrook is the reason why the Denver Nuggets won this game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. And I understand, if they don't get that final shot off and they lose in overtime, it's probably a different conversation. But that was not the case here tonight. Russell Westbrook finishes with 15 points, a +7 in the box, plus-minus, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. A really nice complete game from Russell Westbrook, who played starter-ish minutes with 34 out there tonight. Obviously, the rest of the Nuggets starters, with the exception of Michael Porter Jr., who we'll talk about here in just a moment, all logged 40-plus minutes in this game. But Russell Westbrook, they do not win this game, and I know there's still games left to be played in this series. I might even go as far to say that Denver might not win this series without Russell Westbrook. This is a game. Denver came out lethargic. They looked off throughout really the entire course of the game. If they lose that game in overtime after that rush shot, whatever it might be, like that almost feels like it. I guess the way that I'm trying to put it is, and I understand the Lakers series last year is a bit deceiving. They looked a lot like last year's playoff team. And I understand they lost in 7 of the Minnesota Timberwolves, uninterested at times, lethargic, lazy, just didn't look like it didn't feel like playoff basketball. And this is not a slight to the fans. They did their thing and showed up. But the energy on the court, in my opinion, did not feel like playoff basketball until late in that fourth quarter. And Denver kept cutting it close, right? But empty possessions. Clippers go down and get a bucket. Kawhi did his thing. James Harden did his thing. Nick Batum with a big three-point shot. He had a nice game for the Clippers. And so this could be, it's hard to say after game one, but I don't think it's too strong of a statement. This could be a series-saving victory for the Denver Nuggets tonight, folks, here in game one at Ball Arena. I mean, they just looked like a corpse out there for most of the game. And I understand a win is a win, right? I'm not trying to, go crazy and rip them after a loss. But this, to me, in a narrative perspective, this is more about the Clippers losing game one than it was the Nuggets winning game one, in my opinion. Clippers led by as many as 15 points. James Harden came out hot in this game. 15 points for him alone in the first quarter. He finishes with 32. 11 of 22 from the field. Hit a clutch 3 there at one point in the game late. Kawhi Leonard did his thing with 22 points. 1 of 3 from 3 was Kawhi. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals as well. So a complete game from him. And what's interesting is with the way that this game went early, it's weird to look at the box score here for the Clippers and have every single one of their starters, with the exception of James Harden and Norman Powell, be a minus in the box plus minus. And it's not even like Harden and Powell were a plus. They were 0. Because it felt like the Clippers for the first 3 quarters of this game were just in absolute control of it. But Nikola Jokic does his thing. Battles got teed up. That seemed to give Denver a little bit of a momentum boost. He finishes within spitting distance of a triple-double, a soundboard double for the big fella. 29 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds for Big Honey, plus 10 in the box, plus minus. But he needed help tonight, folks. And he got a little bit of that from Jamal Murray late. Not playoff Jamal Murray. He did hit a couple of nice shots. But from a complete effort perspective, not playoff Jamal, in my opinion. He finishes with 21 points, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 3 of 7 from 3, 7 of 20 from the field, though. So a laborsome 21 points tonight for Jamal. But he had a complete game, scoring aside, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. You like that from Jamal Murray because they needed it, because Michael Porter Jr., hello, where is Michael Porter Jr.? Where's MPJ? We'll talk about that here after the break, because everybody, for the most part, in the starting department tonight had a nice game for the Denver Nuggets, without the exception of Michael Porter Jr. And Christian Brown was up and down, but his 1 3-point shot in this game was a clutch one. So can't complain too much. But it's 112-110. Your final score here as the Denver Nuggets get out to a 1-0 series lead over the Los Angeles Clippers. And man, if this game went the other way, I'm not trying to be irrational or impulsive or emotional, but Denver just did not look good today. I was not overly impressed. I really was not. But maybe this is the wake-up call that Denver needed, and hopefully they can get back on track to try to take game 2 here at Ball Arena and go to LA with a 2-0 series lead. That is obviously the dream scenario. So a win is a win. They get the job done thanks to Russell Westbrook. 112-110, your final score. All right, let's hit our break. When we come back, we will continue along with the conversation. As I teased, where is Michael Porter Jr.? I mean, where is he? Because Denver, even if they can get out of this round, even if they can get out of this series, they ain't going nowhere if Michael Porter Jr. does not show up. And there's something to keep an eye on, a theme with Michael Porter Jr. that we'll talk about when we come back right here after the break. It is your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and even plan on long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Check out our friends over at Monarch Money and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. In Denver tonight, getting the job done in game one by any means necessary, 112-110. It was ugly from the get-go, as I alluded to. The Clippers outscored Denver 35-27. And then it was pretty close in the second and third quarters, but Denver ends up winning the fourth quarter 26-23, and then outscoring the Clippers 14-12 in the overtime period. That's how you get to your 112-110 final score. But, the Clippers were hunting Jokic in that pick and roll. James Harden was hot. Kawhi was making shots, and thankfully Jokic was able to do what he does, get his guys open looks. Aaron Gordon had himself a nice game as well. AG finished with 25 points tonight, 1 of 5 from 3, but much like Christian Brown, the 1 3-point shot that he hit was super, super clutch. AG, 8 rebounds as well, an assist, 2 steals, so a nice overall game from AG. Christian, 11 points, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds. Okay, like I mentioned, you give him a little bit of a pass because the 1 3-point shot that he made was a good one, a clutch one, although the defense was a bit shaky. But the one guy with an inexcusable performance tonight, Michael Porter Jr. Where was Michael Porter Jr.? He only played 26 minutes, and you could see it from my perspective on the bench late in that game. Michael Porter Jr. at times wasn't even near the huddle, it appeared. He finishes with a mere 3 points, 4 rebounds, and essentially all zeros across the board. And the 3 points that Michael Porter Jr. scored in this game was off the first shot attempt he took in the game. So thankfully, Jokic does Jokic things, and Russ bails him out, and Christian Brown with the big 3, and Aaron Gordon with the big 3. Helped kind of mask some of the issues that Denver had in this game. But where is Michael Porter Jr.? Denver is not going anywhere without Michael Porter Jr. And the one thing, he's had consistently tough performances against Minnesota, but the one commonality between this game tonight and his history against Minnesota, physical defenses. When teams are putting bodies on Michael Malone and are guarding him physically and contesting his shots, he just locks up mentally and physically. He's still able to make an impact on the boards, but you're not paying Michael Porter Jr. what you're paying him for rebounds. Rebounds are nice, but you're paying Michael Porter Jr. and you're hoping Michael Porter Jr. can be a legitimate threat in the scoring department. So again, 3 points tonight for MPJ. That is just not going to cut it, folks. That is just not going to cut it. So we'll see what happens here moving forward, but hopefully this is just a bad game from MPJ. I was texting in my group chat with some of my media friends, and they were thinking this game was over, sky is falling after the first half, and I said, okay, let's pump the brakes on that just a little bit. Not trying to make excuses, but Denver hadn't played since last Sunday, so they were obviously a little bit rusty. And also, this is just Nug life. Like the Nuggets outside of the championship season, which is why they were a championship team, I don't think they are this year. That's the only time I can remember the Nuggets made anything easy on us in the Jokic era, was that championship playoff run. It's not going to be easy, folks. There's going to be some ugly losses. There's going to be some ugly games like today that ultimately result in a win. But this is just who the Denver Nuggets are. So take it as it comes. Keep your fingers crossed. Hope that AG and CB can continue to hit clutch shots. Hopefully Jamal can be more efficient scoring-wise, and hopefully Michael Porter Jr. shows up. Couple of closing notes here as well. Peyton Watson with some good defensive minutes, 14 minutes tonight for P-Watt. Jalen Pickett. Okay. Maybe Adelman's a listener of the show. No Julian Strawther today. No Julian Strawther. Pickett only with 5 minutes, but he got some run. But it was Russell Westbrook, the closer, 34 minutes tonight for us, the difference maker in this game. Denver, I'll say it again, Denver does not win this game. The Nuggets do not have a 1-0 series lead without Russell Westbrook. Remember that. So Nice to see Russ get some love. Nice to see Russ show up in the clutch after what has been a pretty tumultuous second half of the season for him. So shout out to him. 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists along with 2 steals. A nice complete game for Brody. Puts the team on the back. Game 2 coming up here later in just a couple of days. It is a 112-110 victory for the Denver Nuggets. On your way out, guys, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. They steal a victory, an ugly win, but a win is a win as the Denver Nuggets take a 1-0 series lead over the Los Angeles Clippers in their first-round NBA playoff series. Good show, good game. We'll see what happens in Game 2. Enjoy your Saturday night, folks. If you're watching the Avs, go Avs, go. Talk to you guys after Game 2. Signing off from Ball Arena.